Hello everyone, welcome to the Infosectrain. My name is Ayush and I will be your instructor for this entire session. In this particular session, we are going to discuss interview question specifically on AWS. I am not only going to discuss question answer, but also I will explain the concept so that you don't have to cram these answer. If you learn the concept, then you can easily address interview question and as well as you can structure your own answer. Explain AWS organization. So team AWS organization is a service which allow large businesses to manage multiple AWS account in a cost effective way or with no management overhead. Without AWS organization, many large businesses face a situation where they need to manage many AWS accounts. AWS organization includes account management, consolidated billing capabilities that enable you to meet better budgetary, security, and compliance need of your business. As an administrator of an organization, you can create accounts in your organization and invite existing accounts to join the organization. Now, team, there are like two type of account: a single account that is designated as the management account and others are the member account. So the management account is the account that you can use to create the organization. And using this account, what all things you can do, you can create organization, invite others existing account to the organization, remove accounts from the organization, manage invitation, apply policies. So all these things you can do using organization's management account. Now, member accounts make up all of the rest of the accounts in an organization. Cool team. Now, moving on to the next question. Explain organizational units and service control policies. Team and organizational unit OU is a logical grouping of accounts in your organization created using AWS organization. And team OU is somewhat similar to groups in IAM. Now, if we talk about service control policies, SCPs are a type of organization policies that you can use to manage permission in your organization. SCPs offer central control over the maximum available permission for all accounts in your organization. So team, what you can do, you can use SCPs to allow or deny services or resources in other accounts using management account. Now team, moving on to the next question. So next question is explain global oscillator. So team, AWS global oscillator is a networking service that improves the performance of a user's traffic by up to 60% using Amazon Web Service global infrastructure. So team, let me tell you how all these things are working. So team, first of all, you can take an example that you have hosted an application in Mumbai region. So this is your application hosted in Mumbai region. Now team, you can take an example. Now I have a customer from US and from US, he wants to access my application that is hosted in Mumbai region. Now you can imagine that there can be like lots of issues like search engine optimization issue, then there can be transaction timeout, right? So there can be latency issues. So there are like lot of issue. So earlier times what we were doing, if this person from US wants to access my application, what he needs to do, he just need to go to public internet, and using that public internet, its request travel all the way from US to Mumbai. And there are like lots of hops in between, right? Like there are lots of hops, and because of these hops, there are like lots of latency. Now team, using global oscillator, what we are going to do, we are just now what this customer will do, this customer will just try to log in from like public internet, and this request now directly going from US to Mumbai, what will happen, now this request will go to the nearest edge location, and this edge location, this request will reach to the Mumbai, that is my application. And this path is the path we are using, is this is the global network infrastructure of Amazon. So we will be using Amazon infrastructure for fulfilling this request. So by this way team, global oscillator help us to improve performance. Now instead of going through public internet, now we are going through Amazon global network, right? So team, this was the explanation. how global oscillator work. Now, moving on to the next question. What are the benefits of using global oscillator? Now, team, there the benefits of using global oscillator are consistent performance. Why we are having consistent performance? The reason is that we are using Amazon infrastructure, right? And this is, I'm damn sure this infrastructure is really stable. So if you're using a stable infrastructure, then you will be having consistent performance. Now, team, if we talk about health checks, now you can take an example. Now I'm hosting my application in two servers, and these two servers are in different region. Now, what global oscillator will do? Global oscillator will do health check on both these servers. Now, if one of the server goes down, what global oscillator will do? It will just send all the requests to the healthy server. Now, if we talk about security, then thanks to AWS Shield, using AWS Shield, we can secure our servers, right? Now, team, moving on to the next question. Next question is, what is the difference between CloudFront and global oscillator? So, team, the difference between CloudFront and global oscillators are CloudFront uses edge location to catch content, while global oscillator uses edge location to find an optimal path to the nearest regional endpoint. So what we are doing in CloudFront, we are just catching our data. That can be anything like image or videos, and this request will be served from edge locations. But in global oscillator, we are not doing any catching. What we will do, we will just use edge locations to find the optimal path to reach to our application. Now, CloudFront is designed to handle HTTP protocol, while global oscillator is best for both HTTP and non-HTTP. CloudFront uses multiple sets of dynamically changing IP address, while global oscillator will provide you set of static IP address as a fixed entry point to your application. And CloudFront pricing is mainly based on the data transfer out and HTTP request, while global oscillator charges a fixed hourly fee and an incremental charge over the standard data transfer rates, also called as data transfer premium fee, DT premium. Okay, so team, now moving on to the next question. So next question is Amazon Athena. Now, team, if we talk about Athena, Amazon Athena is an interactive query service that makes it easy to analyze data directly in Amazon Simple Storage using standard SQL structured language. With a few actions in the management console, you can point Athena at your data stored in Amazon S3 and being using standard SQL to run ad hoc queries and get results in seconds. And Athena is serverless, so there is no infrastructure to set up or manage, pay only for queries you run. So Athena scales automatically, running queries in parallel, so results are fast, even with larger data sets and complex queries. And it supports like CSV, JSON, Avro, and Percut, these kind of extensions, right? Now, moving on to the next question. What is cloud formation? So team, cloud formation is a method of provisioning AWS infrastructure using code, and it allows you to model a collection of related resources, both AWS and third party, to provision them quickly and consistently. So team, we are using cloud formation as an infrastructure as a code. So in this, what we are going to do, the things we were doing in the past, like using manual work. If you want to create a bucket, what we need to do, we just need to just click on create bucket, then we need to specify all these things. Now we don't need to do all this manual work. What we will do, we will just use a template in which we will be having our code in a format of JSON or YAML, and using this template we can easily create our bucket. So this is the idea behind cloud formation. And team, like, it's like a good idea, right? Instead of doing manual work, like, now take an example. If you want to replicate, if you want to build a DR set, and if you want to replicate your whole infrastructure and you want to do it manually, then you can think like how much difficult it is. Now if you're having a code, and what you need to do, you just need to run that template or code on that region, and your DR site is good to go within few hours, right? So this is the concept behind cloud formation. Now team, moving on to the next question. So next question is, what are the benefits of cloud formation? So benefits of cloud formation are infrastructure as a code. So there is no resources are manually created, which is excellent for control, and the code can be version control, for example, Git. And if we talk about cost, you can estimate the cost of your resources using the cloud formation template. Productivity is high because you have the ability to destroy and recreate an infrastructure on the cloud very easily, and you don't need to reinvent anything. You can use that template on the web. Now, team, moving on to the next question. Next question is, what is WAF? Team, WAF is a web applicational firewall that helps to protect your web application or API against common web exploits and bots that may affect availability or compromise security. And this firewall works on layer 7, that is application layer. And using WAF, you can add rules and you can check all the requests that is coming to your network, right? So you can specify the rules, and if that request fulfill your rule or fulfill that condition, then only request will be completed. Now you can take an example. If now I have made a condition that no one from Australia will be able to access this service. So now if someone from Australia is trying to access my service or my application, he won't be able to do it, right? So this is the WAF. Now moving on to the next question. So can AWS WAF block IP? So the answer is, when you add an IP, a match condition to a rule, you also can configure AWS Web Classic to allow or block web requests that do not originate from the IP address that you specify in this condition. So team, if you specify any IP to be blocked, you can do it very easily.